What goes on, guys? We're back here again with yet another review, and today we're taking a look at something that I'm very excited for. We're going to be taking a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys Avatar figures. I guess it's just called the line is just called Avatar, I guess. There's no like line name, right? I don't know. Let me know if there's like an actual name of this, but they're just is Avatar series. We're going to be taking a look at most of the figures in the first wave that I was interested in. I do want the Banshees, but they're not hitting targets right now. And I might wait for them to go on clearance because I don't really have the space for them right now anyway, and they're $50. So hopefully, you know, I can get them for maybe 50 for both of them instead of $100. But anyway, that's later down the road. I'm taking a look at these guys now. We're going to be taking a look at Jake Sully. Looks great. I already opened him, and I really like what he's got going on. There's the barcode for him, and then there's the Banshee that I'm talking about. Definitely will get it eventually, just I don't necessarily need it right now. The packaging is beautiful on these. I really do like what they got going on. Jake Sully. Then we have Colonel Miles Quartich. I don't remember how to exactly pronounce his name. This is the dickhead general that wants to, you know, exploit because white man bad. He is bad, though. I fucking hate him. Quaritch, is that on there? I didn't even notice that. All right, well, we'll see that when we get him in this suit. Oh, I'm very excited. He looks great. He looks like a dickhead, as he should. He's a lot smaller than I thought, but I'm actually kind of okay with it. Here is his barcode if you're looking for him. Then we have Neytiri. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's Neytiri. She looks great as well. She looks awesome. I did not open her yet. I opened the other two so far, but I did not open her yet. There she is, Zoe Saldana. If you know anything about me, you know I love me some Zoe Saldana. So, looks great. It's the same exact picture that they put for Jake, just, you know, her with her Banshee. No special thing there. And then finally, we're going to be taking a look at the Mega Fig, I guess. I think it was $40, 50. I don't remember if it was 40 or 50. I think it was 40. There's a barcode for the amp suit. Yeah, I fucked up my box, though. I hit it with my chair. On the back, you get to see this. And the one thing that's cool that I didn't know until looking at the box is they're all blacklight figures. I don't have a UV light, unfortunately, but that's pretty cool. So eventually I'd like to try to get one and see what they look like. But this is a big boy. So yeah, they've been sitting on my floor for a couple days now, and I really want to get them opened and out because I hate having boxes on the floor. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and pop all these guys open. So finally getting all of these figures out of the packaging. I gotta say they are pretty damn awesome. Now, I do have a couple little issues here and there, but for the most part, these are going on my main display. I can't decide whether I want Neytiri or Jake on the shelf. I mean, because obviously he's more iconic, but she just looks so much better than him. So it's probably going to be her on the shelf for personal values, but just, man, they are really cool figures. So we'll go through. I don't really have a favorite or least favorite. I think all of them are pretty damn near perfect for what they're supposed to be. So we'll just go ahead and start, you know, with Jake. I mean, he's the main character, so of course we got to start with him. And there's just a lot going on here that I really do like. A little bit of paint rub onto the chest there, but I think I could just clean that up. Now, I think I like Neytiri better for a couple of reasons. One, he's very gappy at the torso. I know the whole reason for that being is because this thing is supposed to stay there, but I don't know. I think it's a little gappy and it becomes a little loose, but honestly, it's not that big a deal. One thing I do really like is the head sculpt here. I think that looks just like Jake and just like it's supposed to. The hair has a nice long flowiness to it, soft plastic. A dry brush would have been nice. That goes for both of them. A little bit of a dry brush would have been nice on there. I might go ahead and do that myself. But honestly, there's a lot of paint on here. Now, the stripes go all the way down the body, all the way on the back. All these little bands and stuff are sculpted and painted on his arms. The wash on the chest piece looks amazing. That is very well done. There's a dry brush on the bands. On his arm, there's a little bit of paint. So I'm not super upset about the hair. Obviously, would it be better if it was there? Yes. But it's not like they skimped on the paint everywhere else. The paint looks amazing. And again, earlier, like I said, I didn't know this until I read the packaging. These glow in black light, so I can't wait to see that. There's a nice dry brush on the loincloth here. It's painted all the way like through his taint, I guess. The fucking grundle. But anyway, Shane, if you're watching, the grundle. But there's paint on the tail, on the tip of the tail, like the hair, but then there's also like the stripes on there, which is nice. Lots of texture on the loincloth all the way. The legs got a lot of paint on them as well. Paint and dry brush on the bands on there, which is really nice. The stripes, and then you get his human-y feet, because he has like half avatar, half human, I guess, because he's got 4 or 5 5 fingers, whereas she's got 3. So kind of weird. I like it, but kind of weird. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I really do like the head sculpt there. I think it looks just like it's supposed to. And I love the proportions, the long, lanky proportions. I mean, that's what it's supposed to look like. And I think that they executed that beautifully. Now, in terms of accessories for him, we're just going to go right into it. He gets this big old bow arrow combo thing, and I don't like this. It should have been 2 separate pieces, because they give you an alternate hand, which I do already have on the figure, of a bow pulling back hand, and you can't really do anything with it because this is one solid piece. Now, the sculpt and the paint is pretty decent on there for an accessory. Looks all right, but really the only thing you're going to be able to do with it is just to get him to hold it. So not the biggest fan of that. I don't think that was super well thought out. You could like mimic the articulations there, but it's kind of dumb. You also do get a trigger finger hand for the left side, so if you want that. And then you get a grip hand, a different grip hand, a closed grip hand for this side with a knife that you can have him hold. So there's that. His knife, it's got a little bit of paint on it. I like it. And then if you don't want him holding this, you could take it out and put it in the sheath on his chest. Now, I don't really like this because, again, it's one of those stupid things that McFarlane's been doing where the top isn't closed. So it'll stay, but, I mean, like a little tap, and it'll come out. So not a big fan of that, but it is there if you decide to want to use that. And, of course, it's a McFarlane figure, so yay, figure stand. But this one has Avatar on it. Ooh, yeah, don't care about that. They all come with that. All the regular figures anyway. So yeah, there is Jake. Next up, let's take a look at Neytiri, because she is just beautifully done. The head sculpt on her is damn near perfect. McFarlane killed it with that head sculpt. The hair looks great. The braid that goes all the way down looks awesome. A little bit more paint in the hair would have been nice, but again, they put paint everywhere else. All the paint on the back. We'll talk about that in articulation, but the paint all the way down the back looks really nice. The paint around the tail band is painted super good, and obviously the tip is painted as well. And then you get nice like greenish blue wash on the band on that arm, a dry brush on this arm, that band's painted, and then beautiful color variation along the chest with the band and then the feathers underneath of it. That just looks really nice. And like I said, she's just painted beautifully. Very well done. I really like everything, all the paint on her. The loincloth that she wears also has a nice dry brush on it. Goes all the way through. And then you can see her holster on the side as well, which does also have a dry brush on it, which, you know, it's just awesome to see all this paint on a McFarlane figure, because it just reminds us that McFarlane does know how to paint his figures. Sometimes with our DC Multiverse line, it just doesn't go like that. The legs look great with the paint. Nice band on that leg as well. But like I said earlier, she's only got these Venom toes. I say Venom toes. If you know the Marvel Legends Venom, that's why I'm saying that. But yeah, she looks really good. I love her proportions again as well. Like the thin, lanky bodies. It's just, oh man, it looks so cool. I can't wait to put her on the shelf. For accessories, you do get a couple things. You get pretty much the same thing, just with 3 fingers instead of 4. You get the gripping hand that holds the knife. And like I said, her knife also has a sheath, but it's on her waist, but it's still dumb and has that thing where it falls out the side. This one works a little bit better, so I'm okay with it. I just wish it wasn't like that. You do get the bow and arrow pulling back fingers hand, and then she gets a darker colored bow and arrow set. But she's got a little bit more color on hers than Jake's. It's pretty cool. So I do like that, and she does hold it nice. She actually holds it better than Jake because her hands are a little bit smaller. So I'll probably have her on the shelf, something like that, because that's pretty badass. So yeah, I think that looks great. Now, one thing that I forgot to do on Jake is articulation, so we'll do him first. The articulation for him is as follows. The head goes up, down, pivot, rotate. Beautiful ball joint. Love it. Shoulders go up, down, rotate 360. Butterfly joint that actually does support some good movement in there, and it looks pretty good in all positions, so I like that. Bicep swivel, which I know some people worry that they weren't going to have because they edited them out of the first pictures, but they do have them. Double jointed elbows. Then the wrists are just a swivel hinge, which I do like. That's cool. Diaphragm joint, it comes off really easy on him. So without pulling it off, you're going to go backwards that far. Crunch forward also pretty far. I like that. Rotate at the top and the bottom, and then you get great pivot. Now, the tail I wish was better. It's on a ball joint, which I do like, but it's just not tight enough. So for her and him, it falls off pretty easy, but you can get a rotation and, you know, kind of tilt it in and out. But it's just not deep enough. It's too small, the peg, essentially. So not huge on that. But it works. The hips go outwards that far. Down, he'll kick forward, back, upper thigh rotation, just a little bit, not enough, but whatever. See, it just falls out. Double jointed knees, the ankle goes down, up, swivel, pivots, and a toe joint. So, not bad. I just wish that the tail, actually, it's really good other than the tail. Hers is pretty similar. We'll just run through hers real quick. The head's not going to look up because of the hair. It'll look down, pivot side to side, rotation. So, good as it can be with that hair. Shoulders go up, down, rotate, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that go literally in all the way. Straighten your arm, and then the hinge and swivel on the wrists there. Her knife fell out. She'll crunch backwards that far, forward that far with minimal gapping. So, okay. Hers pops out too, but not as easy. I'm really pushing that. But that's pretty good. I like that. Rotate at the top and the bottom. And then you get some nice pivot too. Look at that. That's almost 90 and no gappage. Don't tell me McFarlane doesn't know how to articulate figures. The hips go outwards that far. Down, she'll kick forward, back, upper thigh rotation, just a little bit of it. Double jointed knees, and then the ankle goes down, up, swivel, pivot, and 3-toe joint. So, yeah, pretty good. Like I said, I like hers better. I think her articulate, it's the same scheme, but hers just works a little bit better. Next, let's take a look at the smallest figure I think I've ever reviewed on the channel. Probably the smallest articulated figure. We're going to be taking a look at the Colonel. Now, the Colonel is just as well articulated, which I think is cool. And the head sculpt on him, like even for being this small, looks just like the guy. I have no idea who the actor is, but you get to see the scarring on the side of his face. I do like that. There's great texture on his tank top. The double jointed elbows look a little clunky, but I mean, he is kind of small. I have his alternate hands on him, but he does come with a shit ton of accessories, which we'll get to in a second. I like the paint on the legs here. I think that that's a really nice touch to get that nice camo look. This gun does come out. We'll talk about that in a second. He's got dry brush on the belt and the holster, which is really cool. Like if you saw this without size, you would think that this is just a 6-inch figure, but McFarlane did a really good job putting it together. He does have his eagle tattoo on the side of his arm, American Eagle, shops there. I really like the camo print. It does look really, really nice. The boots look good. Cute little man boots, and then a little bit of paint on the gold there and the buckle. It's nice. It looks good. It does not look like a 3 3/4 inch figure, which is weird because if you think about it, then these are a 3 3/4 inch line. Like I didn't really think that until like opening them. I'm like, these are 3 3/4 inch scale. So 6-inch scale, these guys would be huge, but I'm fine with what they chose to do. If it scales in its own line, that's good enough for me. Now, like I said, he does come with a fuck ton of accessories. So we'll go ahead and start with the alternate hands. Well, technically the alternate hands are the fisty fist and the pointy point. So you do get those, but if you want to change them out, you can get a grip hand for both sides. Oops. Grip hand for both sides, or a trigger finger hand for the right side. Now the trigger finger hand can hold this gun, which is pretty cool, and it can hold the gun that you saw earlier that was in his holster. This one. I like this one better personally, but and then if you want to, for these guns, you can put some effects in there. It comes with some effects, kind of like Marvel Legends style. So you get orange blast, bigger blast, and then little blast. So and they switch in between either one of them. So that's pretty cool. You don't really see McFarlane do that often. You do get an alternate head, which unfortunately I broke. It was totally my fault. I ripped it off without taking it out of the peg. So this breathing apparatus plugs into like his cortex, I guess, like right at like his tailbone. Cool. I don't know why it's not. It'll go in, and then you pop off the head, and what I did was just kind of rip it off. So it's definitely my fault. It really doesn't matter because it's in the back. But then you can pop in this alternate head of the breathing mask because, you know, you can't breathe on that planet. And that looks awesome. That looks really, really cool. It's a nice clear piece of plastic, which makes me wish that other figures in other lines would use translucent plastic, but I do like that. So very nice touch. They didn't have to do that, but I'm happy that they did. For me, oh shit, I hate when that happens. The peg went through there. For me, definitely going to be using the regular head, but I know this could be beneficial to some people. And then of course, like I said, he does come with the stand. But my favorite accessory for him is this mug. So you can get either gripping hand to hold the mug. Oh, I got it upside down. And it's like, I just like that because you can give him so much attitude just kind of standing there holding his mug. So it's just a little mug. I do like that. Now, luckily, McFarlane did not skimp on the articulation. The head will go up, down, pivot side to side, rotate, swivel all the way around. The hinge goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Hinge goes upwards that far, down, rotate 360. This arm falls out really easy. So it'll go hinge up, down, rotate 360, bicep swivel on him, double jointed elbows. Careful with moving them back though, like you can get almost 90 the other way just because of the way they sculpted it. And then the wrist swivel and hinge like a regular McFarlane. So, you know, you can kind of do whatever you want to do with that. Now the diaphragm joint, God, this arm is so fucking annoying. The diaphragm joint doesn't really crunch forward, but it does arch back, rotate at the top and the bottom, along with giving you some good pivots. So pretty good motion on them. The hips move outwards that far, down, heel kick forward, back, upper thigh cut because it's, or not cut, but it's on a ball peg, so it rotates a little bit better. Double jointed knees on him, which do look pretty good considering they're baggy pants. And then the ankle goes down, up, rotate, pivot, and toe hinge. So yeah, pretty good articulation on this little guy. And he's cool and all, but you got to get him with his mech suit. Look at that, dude. This mech suit is awesome. Now, I think most of my problems lie with the mech suit just because of the way that they engineered it. But honestly, I think it's a really cool figure nonetheless. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this. Now, it's not really a head sculpt to speak of. We're just going to talk about the aesthetic of the figure and, you know, obviously what it looks like in terms of just being a big robot rather than an actual character. So looks really cool. I did not know that it had his name on there, which is really cool. You can see like the little tattoo, Beyond Glory. That's pretty awesome. And then nothing on the other side. This does open up and you get like the cockpit in there. So you can see all the goods in there. That's pretty cool. You can see like some of the stuff that, like the panels and stuff. They did not skimp on that. And then the hole all the way down, but I'll show Miles in there in a second. The wash on this is really cool. It's got like a rusty dry brush all over the whole thing that gets the effect done really well. The arms look really nice in terms of sculpt. The rivets, the screws, 11 up there looks really good. And then the ratchets also just look like they're part, like the joint itself looks like part of the robot, so it really doesn't bother me. These hinges are really cool. We'll talk about that in a second. But there's just detail everywhere. I don't really know mechanics that well. I'm a biology guy, so I don't really know what these are all called. Like these pistons and canisters all look really, really cool. Nothing looks articulated, but the whole thing is, which I love when figures are like that. Like when you can't tell that they're articulated, but they are. All the sculpt is super crisp down here. There's a nice wash across the whole thing, and it gets dirtier as you get down to the bottom, which is pretty cool. These giant meaty legs. These big feet, these duck-like feet with nice treads on them. It just looks so sick. It's pretty heavy too, believe it or not. You get the 11 on the leg as well. It's just, I like how it's dirtier down there than it is up here. There's some silver dry brushing on there as well. It's just a good-looking mech suit. I don't know what else you could use this for, but if you could find something to use it for, buy it because it looks super, super cool. And I love the clear plastic for the hood that opens and closes. You can't even tell it opens. So I do like that a lot. The little, you know, like scope in there is really cool. The hazard lines, you know, to be aware of getting in. That's really cool. The knees look nice. Like everything just looks really cool on this. The panel work on the legs is awesome. But I think it looks even cooler when Miles himself gets inside of it. Pause. So I take him. I usually get him in like a little pose or something like that. Don't do anything super crazy, but get him something like that, right? Just for now. Look like he's touching the cockpit. Damn, I'm making a lot of dirty jokes. And then shut that boy. And that looks awesome with him in there. Super, super cool. I mean, if this was actually 6-inch scale, this thing would be huge. But, I mean, I'm fine that it's not. He does come with a couple accessories, too. Obviously, you're going to get his big old gun. The belt looks crazy. It's super long and all bendy and stuff, so tons of ammo. The dry brush on the gun looks really good. The wires, or like the rack in there, looks good. Almost wish that this bayonet like kind of opened up or like shot out. That would have been really cool. And then you get like the front of the gun and the top for him to hold. So he does hold it, or the robot does hold it pretty good. Android, I don't know what this would be called. Mech suit, I guess, would be the best thing. He does hold it pretty good in there, so you grab that in there and then move this boy up. Move this boy up. And then he holds the top. So you can get it to look good. You just gotta, do your posing game pretty well. And then you just like, pew, pew, pew. So that looks awesome. The silver on it's really nice. I really do like it because if you get him in the right positions, it just looks like he's super badass because he is. Or, Miles is super badass. He's a dickhead, but you can get him, he's bad, evil, white government man. He sucks. You can get him to hold it like one hand, like that one scene at the end of the fight. Scene like where he's ready to go hand to hand with Jake and he's like, yeah, that looks pretty sick. But if you don't want this grippy hand, you can pull that out and put in a flat hand. So just like an open hand, which it's a really nice touch for somebody like me. I hate grippy hands with nothing to hold. Just kind of a thing for me. I don't like it. So luckily they eliminated that issue. He's a little hard to stand, which we'll talk about that in articulation in a second. And then finally, he comes with his big knife, which you can use the grip hammer in the hole. There's a little bit of silver dry brush on there. I also really do like this accessory. So it's good to see these bigger figures actually coming with these accessories now. Now, the articulation is pretty wild on this thing, so try to stick with me as best as you can, because I've never seen anything like this. Obviously, there's no head. The most head articulation, so to speak, you're going to get is this hinge here. Now, you get this swivel joint, right? It's like a sliding thing that acts like a butterfly joint that makes the arm go forward and back. That is such an awesome feature. I've never seen that. It looks great and works awesomely. So if you want them like walking, you can do that. That would be great for people to do stop motion. I would love to see that. That's awesome. The arm rotates all the way around. It'll hinge outwards, past horizontal, down. No bicep swivel, but you do get a swivel in the single jointed elbow that goes just about 90. So you do get a rotation there. And then the wrist just swivel. That's the biggest point that I don't like. I wish there was a hinge on the wrists. I wish there was. There's a waist swivel in there too. I was gonna say I wish there was, but really loud, but the waist swivel is in there. The hips only go outwards that far. They go in more than they go out. No thigh cut, but it does pivot on there because it's just like a ball peg. It'll rotate all the way around. Super tight joints, which I like and I don't. Single jointed knee that goes in past 90. That's pretty damn good, but it's just really, really tight. Really, really tight. The ankle goes up and down. No pivot on that. So sometimes he's a little hard to stand, but once you get him standing, he's not going to go anywhere. So really cool articulation on this. I've never seen anything like it. Now, in terms of scale, I'm not exactly sure where this line falls. So here they are next to the 6-inch Jazzwares Fortnite series Peely, and then the Dark Knight Returns Batman. So they're definitely taller, and then obviously there's a little guy down there. If you want to see them next to some Marvel Legends, here they are next to Zombie Captain America and the Marvel Legends Darwin. So definitely taller than them, but definitely not tall enough to be a 6-inch scale. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And then finally, here they are next to Sully Kong, which Sully Kong is still dwarfed by this giant mech. So not exactly sure what scale they were going for. I guess it's closer to 3 3/4 inch, but it works for me. If they work together, that's fine. So I do like this whole idea. I have always wanted Avatar figures in my collection. I mean, ask my girlfriend, ask anybody who knows that I like figures, that I've always wanted Avatar figures. Nobody ever made them, which kind of sucks, and it sucks that it took this long to get them, but I'm happy that I waited it out. Didn't try to do like some extravagant custom. I was gonna get the NECA Amphibian Man and try to do something with that, but I never wound up doing it. But happily or luckily I didn't, because these are awesome. I honestly thought that NECA would take this license eventually. I think NECA would have killed it with these, but honestly I think McFarlane, with what they do, did amazing. So no complaints here on my end. I'm going to give everybody the same rating because I feel the same pretty much about each figure. I'm giving them all 9 out of 10s. Pinless joints, better thigh cuts. But other than that, it's awesome. I can't wait. Unfortunately, guys, I'm sorry that I can't show you the black light effect on these. I don't have a black light flashlight, but hopefully one day I get to see that, because these are awesome ass figures, and I think they'll be even cooler with that feature. So yeah, 9 out of 10 all the way around. They are really, really awesome. So if you're considering getting them, go ahead and pick them up, because they are worth the money. But anyway, I believe that's all I got for today. So if you've not already, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I post a lot over there and I have a lot of fun, so I'm sure you all will too. But as always, I need to know, did you guys even want these? And if so, you coppin'? Let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.